Hey guys, Michael here. Hope that you are all doing well today. While we are waiting for the next big update to come from Creative Assembly for Warhammer 3, I decided to finish up some projects that I had started a while ago, and this is one of them, and I do want to thank one of the mod authors in particular for basically lighting a fire under my butt and encouraging me to hurry up and get this done. And why do I say that? Well, that's because this is going to be my list of my favorite cosmetic mods for the game. This is going to run from some mods that have been around for a long time that most of you have probably already heard of and may already be using, all the way up to some pretty recent additions. And speaking of very recent additions, obviously, I want to thank all of the mod authors for their work, but in one particular case, that being the case of Robin Hatt, I want to thank him not only for his work, but for also calling my attention to a mod that he has updated very recently here, which is the Heraldry, Flags, and Banners mod. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and start this particular list. Now, I'm going to be running footage in the background of these mods and how they look in game, how they affect it. But in the case of this one, I want to actually let it show here on the main menu screen for a little while so you can get a sense of what all this mod does in terms of all of the banners and heraldry for all of the different factions in the game. It currently updates all of them. Take a look for yourself. They, to me, look really, really sharp. I really like the attention to detail of this mod. Now, I have long been a fan of the tabletop heraldry mod, but I think I like this one even better. So this one is going to be replacing that one on my mod list for my campaigns moving forward. Obviously very subjective, but like I said, I think the work stands for itself in terms of the quality, the detail, the attention to detail that has been paid. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, this is only a cosmetic change. This is not going to affect the functionality. None of these mods on this list are going to affect the functionality of the game at all. They're only a matter of how the game looks. I'm just going to let this play here in the background for a minute or two so that you can get a sense of all of the different factions. And one thing to mention that he does say in the mod description that he is working also on better looking battle banners, including some faction specific banners. So that'll be quite interesting, something to keep an eye on moving forward. All right, the next one that I want to talk about is a mod that I have talked about before. This has long been one of my favorite mods. It's been pretty much a staple in my mod list for a long time, and that is, of course, Dynamic World by A7DF. And yeah, this makes so many changes. I'm obviously not going to read through all of these, but as a fan of Nurgle, I particularly like what it does in terms of the regions, or I should say the provinces that are affected by Nurgle corruption. But it's not really doing the mod justice to really focus on that one because it does change so many different things. Take a look at the mod page for yourself to see all the different features and race-specific details that are included in it. Again, very subjective, but I just really think it's a vast improvement over the way that the vanilla campaign map looks. And since we're talking about the campaign map, let's talk about one of two weather overhaul mods that I'm going to recommend. This one is, of course, Campaign Weather Overhaul by John Matrix. Again, updated pretty recently, and obviously, once more, subjective, but really a lot of additional detail on the campaign map in terms of the weather effects. The mod itself goes into a lot of detail about the different areas of the world and the different weather effects that you're going to see in those different areas. And yeah, there's just an awful lot of attention to detail being paid here as well. And that is something that I very much appreciate. This, like I said, is only affecting the campaign map, but same mod author has another one for the battle. So let's go ahead and talk about that one. Battle Weather Overhaul. Now, I wish I could show this particular mod in its full glory, but actually it ramps all the way up to a level of detail on the battle maps that exceeds what my rig is capable of showing while I'm recording. I can I can play it in game as long as I'm not recording, but I start to get a little bit of a performance drop, unfortunately, when I turn on my recording software. So really nice weather effects in battle. Hopefully you'll get some sense of it, but just know that if you have a good rig, it can look even nicer than what I'm showing right here. Now, the mod author does point out that the mod must be played with VFX detail set to ultra. Anything less will significantly affect the visuals, reducing or outright removing a lot of the weather effects. So that is just something that you need to be aware of for yourself and make the determination about whether or not your rig can handle it. But if you can run it, I would say go for it. It adds some very nice effects. All right, so let's move on now to some more unit-specific mods. The first one I want to mention is just a really subtle mod. It's called Enhanced Experience Icons. I'm sure many of you have heard of it before. But yeah, it just makes the chevrons that distinguish what rank your units are, it just makes them stand out much more than they do in vanilla. I find it hard to play without this now. I just have a hard time telling the difference between the bronze chevrons and the gold chevrons. This just makes them more distinguishable to me. I just like the effect that it provides. Obviously very lightweight mod, very simple, but you know, again, very subjective as well. This one is by Muse Regal. Sorry, my German pronunciation probably just butchered that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about another unit mod, and that is alternative unit cards. This, I wish it was universal. I wish it affected every unit in the game, but it does affect an awful lot of them. Really like the effect that most of these new unit cards have, so I prefer it to the vanilla personally. Pretty self-explanatory. Try it for yourself and find out if you like the alternatives better than the vanilla ones. And then finally, the last one I want to talk about is the unique faction UI. Now, one thing that you should know is I believe this is not compatible with the high resolution UI mod, but I actually prefer having this one. Obviously very subjective. Obviously some people are going to prefer being able to see more on their screen at one time, which is what you're going to get with the other mod. But personally, I've decided I actually like the amount of information that's shown on the screen at one time by the vanilla. So I'm okay with not using the high res mod and instead using this one. This is the unique faction UI. It's again by the same mod author as the previous one. This is Muse Regal. And also apparently by Drew West. I apologize if I've left off any of the mod authors as I go through this list. But anyway, yeah, this basically, as described in the description, tries to give every faction a unique UI that fits their design. Includes the colors, but it also includes some of the other effects that you see on the screen as well. He does mention, I currently plan on doing a big rework of the Tomb King's UI as I feel it doesn't hold up to my current quality standards. I feel like that comment has been there for a while, so I don't really know if that is actively being worked on or not. But again, pretty nice mod overall. I definitely like the look and feel of this UI for each faction. Just a kind of a nice touch that I kind of wish CA would have done in their vanilla UI. But anyway, those are my favorites. Again, I've been showing in the background how these look in game, and I would go ahead and say, you know, let me know in the comments what your own preferences are in terms of any other cosmetic mods that you like to use. Certainly, I think there's going to be a great bit of diverse opinions when it comes to what the best cosmetic mods are. Anyway, hopefully there was something to get out of this for at least some of you. Again, my own very subjective opinions, but I do find that all these mods do play nice together, and most of them have become just absolute staples in my own mod list whenever I play the game. So, all right, I think then with that, I will go ahead and leave it there. But as always, welcome your comments, and I'll go ahead and say thanks everybody so much for watching and listening, and I will see you all in the next video.